My name is Amy Bradshaw and I am the Mental Health and Wellbeing Lead for the Nen Education Trust. This year I have had the absolute pleasure of working with all the children at Redwell Primary. Started with Year 6 and Year 5 in the autumn term, and I've worked my way through, and at the moment I'm currently working with Year 1 and foundation stage, delivering wellbeing sessions, teaching mindfulness tools and techniques, and giving a space in the school day to talk about our feelings, our emotions, and how we can navigate life's ups and downs. So as part of Values Day, I'm doing this session now to give us all an opportunity to share the things that we have been learning about this year. The children are hopefully going to tell you lots about what we've worked on, and to give you a sense of the sorts of things that we are doing in school, and to give you some ideas of what you might be able to do at home as well. So I'm really looking forward to having this opportunity to share the brilliant work that we've done this year with these amazing children and wonderful staff. And I hope you're willing to get involved and have a go at some of the tasks that I've got planned for you. Enjoy! So in Key Stage 1, our focus has been on developing the language around being able to talk about our emotions, and we've used the wonderful book, The Colour Monster, to be able to do this. We've looked at the different emotions that come up in the story, and we've developed the language and the vocabulary that we've got to be able to talk about those emotions. We've talked about levels of feeling, that sad is different to devastated, that worried is different to terrified. We've talked about how those things feel in our body. So we've brought together identifying how we're feeling, having the words to talk about how we're feeling, and noticing what that feels like in our body. And all of this allows us to learn how to regulate ourselves. So when we notice that something's not quite right in our body, we start to build together a toolkit to be able to help us to return to that feeling of feeling safe and calm and ready to learn. So what I want us to start off doing, and children, it's going to be over to you now, is I want you to tell the grown-ups that are with you about the different emotions that we learnt about in The Colour Monster. See if you can remember them all. I think there's 7. Let me just try and remember myself. Yes, definitely 7. See if you can remember them all. And then, with your grown-up, I want you to have a go at making your face look like each of those emotions. So if I said to you, show me what confused looks like, could you make your face look confused? See if your grown-ups can guess which one of the emotions you're showing them by what you do with your face. So teachers, pause the video here. Give a couple of minutes to do this activity. Adults, get involved too. Have a go. Test your children. Have a go at making those expressions. How are you feeling? So even though I'm not there with you all, I bet there was a lot of giggling going on as you were doing that activity. I wonder what you noticed about how it made you feel trying to have a go at making those different emotions. Hopefully there was lots of conversations happening about what your faces looked like, and maybe you even started talking about how it feels inside when you're feeling those things. These are some of the resources that we use in our sessions to help us to develop our language around talking about these different emotions. Did you remember all 7 of them? Brilliant, well done. And when we've done this work on vocabulary, we've added even more words than this. This is our starting point, and the children's vocabulary is already fantastic, and so it's made this part of the sessions really, really enjoyable and really rich, because we've been able to really delve into the words that we can use to be really specific about how we're feeling. So well done, everybody. A really important part of any kind of well-being work with young children is about linking our emotions and our understanding of our emotions with what is happening in our bodies, because young children are in the moment. They are impulsive, reactive. It's one of the brilliant things about young children, isn't it? But it also means that they find regulation hard. It's a skill that we learn as we grow. So we want to shine a spotlight on exactly what's happening in our body. Where do we feel these different emotions? And this can often be quite tricky, even as adults, for us to understand what's actually happening in my body in those early warning signs that maybe emotions are becoming overwhelming. So what I'd like you to do, children, over to you again, because I want you to pick an emotion, any emotion that you like, and I want you and the grown-up that you're with to talk about where do you feel that emotion in your body. I wonder if you feel it in any of the same places and in any of the same ways. I wonder if there's anything that you feel differently, because we're not all the same, are we? So each of us have our own unique way of experiencing our emotions. So maybe if you chose worried, you might say, I get butterflies in my tummy. Your grown-up might say, I get a heavy feeling on my chest. You might say, I get tingles in my hands. Your grown-up might say, I get a really bad headache. So talk to each other about where you feel those different emotions. Maybe each of you choose one emotion to talk about and notice, where do you feel it? See if you can start at the head and work down. Do you feel it everywhere? Do you just feel it in certain places? Have a chat. Teachers, pause the video again and see what you come up with. So having done all this talking about understanding our emotions, being able to talk about emotions, noticing where we feel them in our body, our big focus is on starting to introduce little ways that we're able to regulate ourselves when we need to. And we do that through some really simple, really fun breathing practices. You might even have heard about some of these at home already. And again, in a moment, I'm going to pass over to the children. They're absolutely the best people to teach you about our breathing practices. I'm just going to remind them of the different ones that we have learnt about. Because children, what I want you to do is I want you to lead your grown-ups in a short breathing practice, and you can choose whichever one you want to do. Maybe you choose your favourite one. Maybe you even choose one or two of them. You could show a couple of them if you want to, but we want to remember all the really important information about when we're doing it, because these are our moments to just stop and just be still for a moment, to take a breath and let our body settle down. So we have learnt our big wing breathing, we've done our rainbow breathing, we've done our pufferfish breathing, and some of us have also done our flower and candle breathing. I wonder if you can remember all of them. Let me just give you a little reminder. So our big wing breathing, we breathe in through our nose as we flap our wings up, we breathe out through our mouth as we bring them down. So we're just timing our breathing as we move our arms, nice and slow and steady. And we can even close our eyes if we'd like to. Really focus on how it feels for us. And we've got our rainbow breathing. Breathing in, making the shape of a rainbow. Breathing out as we come down. Our pufferfish breathing, we loved watching this one, didn't we? Breathing in as we expand like a pufferfish. Breathing out, shrinking back down again. And the flower and the candle breathing that some of us did, we imagine we're breathing in, smelling a beautiful scented flower. And as we breathe out, we imagine we're blowing out the candles on a cake. So these are simple ways to slow our breathing down, breathe very deliberately. And we know the best regulation happens when we just pause for a moment and we just focus on ourselves. And that's really what mindfulness is. In essence, it's stopping, being aware of the present moment, bringing all of your attention to what's happening here and now. So children, over to you. Teach your grown-ups some of our breathing practices. Make sure that they are breathing in through their nose, breathing out through their mouth, and not going too quickly. We want this to be a moment of calm, don't we? Have a go. So I hope you've enjoyed this whistle-stop tour of some of the things that we focused on in our wellbeing sessions. I hope maybe now you've learned something that you can take home and use at home as well. If you're interested in finding out more, if you would like to look at some resources that might help to support emotional regulation and well-being at home, the Net Wellbeing YouTube channel is full of fantastic videos. There's some there for children, including some practices like the ones we've just done. There's some videos there specifically for parents. I made them during the pandemic, where we're looking at boundaries and finding balance and things like that, but they are as relevant now as they were then. So hopefully there's lots there that you can dive into if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how we can support all of our well-being to be able to be the best version of ourselves. Look forward to seeing you all again in the future, and have a great rest of your day.